welcome to episode 16 of Sanj Surati Talks. It's been a while since we did the last one, but as you all know, I only speak to people that I want to speak to. We've been getting a lot of really good responses to the last podcast, and I'm always welcome to views that you guys have and what we speak about. So please keep them coming. If you want to share anything, don't forget the hashtag Sanj Surati Talks, all one word. Now, I've got an amazing energy for you today. He's a guy I've been working with for a long time now, a couple of years. He's a very, very inspiring chap. I want you guys to put your hands together and welcome to the stage the Creature Bionics practitioner, Ace Ruele.
And that's a big opening, man. Thank you. I appreciate, such a big opening.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you. I'm good. And you actually are the closest to saying my name to what it actually is, Ruele. Because a lot of people say Rule or Re or so, but you done well, man. You done well.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. My name gets mixed up a lot of times on shoots and stuff. I try not to be offended, but I find it so offensive when people get my name wrong.
Yeah.
There's lots of people who listen to this. I know you've got fans already. I mean, I'm a fan, but there's going to be a few people that don't know much about you. Give us a brief intro in who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Ace Ruele, and that's obviously my first and middle name that I use as my professional name as well. So anything I do in the public light as a performer or anything, I use my first and middle name. And for those that don't know me, I am a professional full-time actor. That's what I do full-time, nothing else. Well, I do bits and bobs or other things, but my main occupation and role right now, career-wise, is an actor. And I'm an actor that specializes in creature performance as well as in the worlds of motion capture. So what that means is, those that don't know what motion capture is, if you think of stuff like Planet of the Apes or Avatar, or if you think of how video games are, the little character that runs around in the video games that you might be playing with or fighting against in the video game, that's the stuff that I do. So there's a human that does all of these things. And in relation to what I do as an actor, I have a business, a company called Creature Bionics, which we focus on making practical effects. Some people might call it props. Some people might call it rigs. I call them performance rigs. Performance rigs that enable actors to play creatures better and enhance how they perform, as well as supply better data for motion capture and VFX reference. So what that means is, if you are somebody who is playing a quadruped character, we would make arm extensions to make sure that you have your skeleton in order. If you was playing a creature that had digitigrade legs, that means we would have the equipment to make sure that your legs has the reverse knee joint. So we make different props and performance rigs in order to us as actors to play well. And again, for motion capture data, because when you're capturing in a volume, there's certain rigs that I've created that has enabled me as an actor to give a better data towards motion capture. So with that being said, those are the things that I revolve around in. And, some people see me as a motivational speaker. I'm just a person that, I am privileged to be in a position where I can share life experiences. So I never call myself a motivational speaker, because at the end of the day, all I'm doing is sharing information and knowledge that is through my own experiences and stuff that I might have studied and everything. So I hope it sets a seed for people to want to listen to. But, it's no guarantee that I might motivate you for the rest of your life. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell, as well as being a family man, a father of three. And yeah, that's me.
Just focusing on the Creature Bionics side of what you do. I've been in the film industry for a while, not a long time, but for a while. And the VFX side is, although exciting and interesting, I've never really connected to that space.
Yeah.
Just because I feel the mindset doesn't really revolve around how I think. But from meeting you, not only do I feel inspired by that space from talking to you and seeing how you work, but you're injecting innovation in that space in a way that I've never seen before. Again, I haven't been in the film industry that long. It feels like you're defining a new way for people to express themselves using motion capture.
Yeah. So going by what I'm basically doing is things that has been done before, but it's not really been done from the actor's perspective. So what I mean is okay, so you've had motion capture for years. You've had practical effects for years. You know, they used it for many films, Star Wars being one of them, Jurassic Park. Like practical effects is used a lot. But what the difference is that I'm coming from it from a performer's perspective, and I already know what I need to be done. I'm coming from the perspective of the actor. So that means I'm seeing things differently. I'm thinking about performance, whereas the practical effect person who, you know, does this in special effects and everything, they may be coming from the angle of, okay, how can we make this look good? How can we make this able to make this person move? Well, I'm thinking about how can I make this person perform at the best of their ability? And what that also means is because it's not been done. And another thing that's not really been stretched upon is how I'm taking these rigs and using it in motion capture. So I might design a rig and have it developed by my team just specifically for motion capture, meaning that it creates a specific data that you would not be able to get by a human by themselves. Yes, it could be hand animated, but that would take an extra long amount of time where I'm going to give them something where they've cut their time down and something that's very unique. And again, it's a field that's not really been touched on by an actor. It's not a field that's been touched on by people from a non-Caucasian background as well. So it's really opening up the eyes of what is possible and what can be done.
It's amazing. How long have you been doing that as Creature Bionics now?
Creature Bionics has been going on for a year and February, March, April, May, June. We're almost in July. So call it a year and 5 months.
Right. Okay. And how long have you been doing that type of style of acting?
Since about 2014 when I got my first experience doing it. So I'll say from 2014, from training myself to working on projects with equipment and stuff like that.
And what was your first gig?
Legend of Tarzan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so
and how did you get into that? How did Legend of Tarzan land on your lap?
Well, you know what? To be fair, it's the same story I tell every time, which is, you know, one time I was in the gym and my friend was like, hey, Ace, look, they're looking for extras to play the Black Warriors, and the Warriors are making like 250 a day, 300 a day at time. I'm like, yeah, all right, bring me in, man. I'm down. You get me? Because I looked at as being an extra as a way into understanding how it all works on a set and everything. So went on there, and when I'm thinking I'm going to be playing a warrior, I ended up auditioning to play one of the apes, and that's when I first got the experience of the arm extensions. And from there, I've kind of got a way of how I do things. So when I already knew I was going to get the role, I knew I was going to get one of the roles because they casted, I think there was like 5 of us, and there was five background apes. And I think there was at least 10 or 14 of us in the room. I can't remember. There was a few of us.
Right.
I knew I was going to get the role anyway, because I knew as an actor that when I decide I'm going to be an animal or an ape or a creature, I'm it. By the time other people have decided, they've had to get past the block off worrying about what other people think, and then they finally get into it, where I'm that from the very get-go.
Right.
So I kind of knew I was going to get the role. And when I did get the role, it eventually, I have a thing where I'm like, listen, anytime I perform, there's a couple of things I need to keep in mind. One, I need to make sure these people never forget my name. Whenever I'm on set, I need to make sure that these people never forget my name. They're never gonna forget. And what that means is if they don't forget, that means if an opportunity comes again, they're gonna think of me, which has happened from Legend of Tarzan, is how I done Marvel. And my second thing is about how can I stand out without trying to look like I'm standing out? You know, how can I stand out amongst everybody that's in this building right now, or without stepping on anybody else, or without looking like I'm doing too much or too extra? And because I run with those vibes and those energies, it always brings me back forth what I desire in the future. So because of Legend of Tarzan, I played the background apes, and I played for reshoots, I played the main apes, and then I played the lions. So yeah, that was my experience in 2014 to 2016. And then basically it took me about a year or so to eventually figure out how to get into motion capture, because before that, I didn't know that humans played creatures. So when I discovered that, I was like, yo, this is for me, because this is the stuff I would do at my home, just playing around. You know what I'm saying? So for me, doing that now and doing what I'm doing now, it all came down to once I'd got my first job in the Mocap Studio, which was in 2017. That was basically the door in. And then I just basically branded myself to be in the position that I'm in now.
Mate, you've done an amazing job, because to me anyway, you feel like a captain of industry as opposed to a teacher. And that's exciting. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels that. Just focusing on character development, it sounds like on The Legend of Tarzan, you had to learn a lot and you had to be a lot of characters quickly.
Yeah.
What steps do you take to design your characters when you're working within that motion capture space?
Well, realistically, it's all about the backstory of the character. How much information can the director or anybody who is working on a project can give you about the character you're playing? So the information that they give you from, if it's fantasy, then you need the information that's given to you and then you work with it. Or if it's an animal, then you take what character personality the director wants from the animal, and then obviously you watch the videos, as much videos as possible, and you try to imitate as much. But really for me, because motion capture is one of those things where if you get it wrong, they can fix it. But that can stop you from being worked with again, because if you create bad data, that's a lot more work than they need. So the reality is about being in it. For me, it's just about being in the moment, being in it, being completely immersed and putting yourself completely in the zone and in that world of that being. So when I perform as any animal, any creature, I'm no longer Ace Ruele, because I'm not thinking as Ace Ruele. I'm not even thinking, I'm just being, because most animals, they don't think. They just subconsciously have programs that enable them to act. So, if a lion sees a deer and it's hungry, it's going to hunt it down. But if a lion's full and it sees a deer, it won't hunt it down. Whereas we might buy food and keep it frozen and keep it there, whereas the lion ain't going to do that. So you have to act more of instincts and subconscious programming. And the only way for me to be able to do that is to put myself completely in the zone and no longer be Ace. So when I do that with the information that's been given to me from before and the little trials that I've been running on it and everything like that, because sometimes in mocap, you don't get no rehearsal time. You just go turn up on set and they tell you this is what they want you to do and you practice it and then boom, that's it. So for me, once I'm in zone, there's no stopping, It's like that's how I get into it, really.
Yeah. So I feel the same. I've been on set and I actually enjoy that moment when they're like, right, do this. And you haven't even thought about it. You just need to be, on your toes and dynamic and go for it.
Yeah.
When you first experienced that, how did you feel?
Boy, first experiencing it, like I've been this way from young. So like as a performer, when I go into performance mode and then into thingy, there's no really way to experience. The only reason why I know that what I'm doing is working is because what people say to me outside of it. When I come out of character and the cameraman's like, Ace, it's like you're two different people. Or, when I was on set with Tarzan and the guys are like, yo, you actually did kind of scare me, like, so that gives me reference to what I'm doing is correct, because when I'm in it, I'm not thinking about how I'm feeling or what I'm doing. I can't do that because then I'm not truly being in the moment. So for me, the real reality of me being what I say I am being when I'm playing as it's coming from the opinions and words of other people around me.
Yeah, I totally get that. It sounds like you're proud of that ability to just switch it on.
Yeah, because, we all have it in us. Everyone has the ability to do it. It's whether it's whether you have to have an outside external experience first before you do it, or can you do it within your own self, which everyone can do. It's just whether you can do it within your own self and be at it for as long as needed, So for me, it's just like one of those things that I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. And it takes a lot of self-belief to be able to be in those type of positions and be able to change who you are into being what you are now going to become, you have to believe in your art and your skill in order to 100% give all without worrying about the opinions or thinking about what might be going on.
Where did you find that mindset? I only ask because when I'm on set working with lots of creatives, there's a lot of insecurity on set. Not always, but majority of the time. How did you find that confidence in yourself?
To be fair, I've always been confident as an individual when it comes to doing stuff. Like, I'm not afraid of risk. I'm not afraid of being the 1-2. I'm not afraid of being the first. You know, a lot of people are scared to be the first. They want to see other people doing it first before they go to do it. But realistically, it comes down to knowing yourself on every particular level. Like, I know the value of myself from self-studying in psychology, you know, neuroscience, in spirituality, in just biology, just knowing the fact of what your body does for you to keep you alive. Like, I have purpose. I don't need to be an actor to have purpose. I have purpose for the fact that if I cut my skin right now, it's going to heal itself. You know, I have purpose in the fact that this organism that I have, the heart, the liver, the pancreas, the trillions of cells, they all work together just to keep me alive. Their one purpose of being is to keep me alive. So that gives me value in itself. I was given a body that can heal itself. I was given a body that will fight for me. I was given a body that harbors my soul. So when I understand that on that kind of level, I've already got confidence. I'm already, you know, special. I'm already, you know, on a platform high. But so is everybody else when they actually acknowledge what's been given to them. You know, like when for me, knowing yourself is like discovering the gold mine that you have within you. You dug deep enough and you finally recognize, geez, I'm made of this gold. Wow, this gold never drops in value. It can only increase. Wow, I'm that gold. And I discovered that gold before. That gold is at my core from just being a human being, not because, oh, I'm an actor, not because I got talents, not because I can do this. That's just from being a human being. So if I've got that type of belief about myself from just being a human being and knowing what the human body can do, the mind, the spirit, well, then Sanj is the same because he's got a body, he's got a mind, he's got a spirit. Kirsty out there, Sherelle out there, Ben out there, they all got this value as well. But people are so caught up in the race of, you know, survival and finances, which is brought to you by society. It's not like, you know, we're not born that way. It's put upon us and people. But when you start recognizing your worth, you start recognizing, hey, I'm godlike. And when I say godlike, I don't mean a god meaning above anybody else. I mean like godlike in the fact that I've been given this body to harness my spirit and soul in order for me to have an experience. You know, that means anything's possible for me. God damn, hell, anything's possible for me then. And because of that belief is the reason why I believe I've achieved certain things, and certain things just came to me, just came to me, you know, like there's certain things I can't even talk about that I've done recently, but it's just like, it comes to me. And that's because it deserves to come to me because I deserve it. But then I don't deserve it more than anybody else deserves it. But how many people really believe they deserve it at their core, believe they deserve it. So, you know, when you believe you deserve it and then you also work towards it, because you can sit there and believe you deserve something and it might come to you, but it might take years upon years. But when you believe you deserve something and you go out to make that happen, or you increasing that by 10, by 100, by 1,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I believe everything I'm getting, I bloody deserve, as well as not sitting on my bum thinking because I deserve it, I shouldn't go out there and go and get it.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Really beautiful words there, Ace. I really appreciate that. I'm sure people listening really, really value that.
No problem, man.
You're going through a legal ordeal at the moment with regards to your immigration status.
Yeah.
And I know this is quite a a big story, been in the press. Equity are really supporting it at the moment. I know your fans are supporting you.
Yeah.
Give us your side of this story. What has happened? How are you dealing with it? And how does it make you feel?
So, trying to make it as short as possible, I was born and grown in the UK, but because I was born after 1983, before any of my parents, well, forget my dad, he's in Jamaica, so before my mum was British, I automatically became a Jamaican national. So though I was born and grown here, you don't automatically get citizenship like you may do in other countries. So I didn't know none of this information. I just always thought I was, British/Jamaican, whatever. And it's not until I went prison and I got sentenced to, I served, I got an 8-year sentence and served 4.5 years in prison. Wow. It was not until a year before I was being released did they come and tell me that, they're going to try to deport me. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? Like, I'm confused. What do you mean deport me? I was born and grown here. What do you mean? And that's when they told me about 1983. If you're born after 1983 and your parents are not British and not automatically. So I had indefinite leave to remain instead of citizenship. So obviously they tried to deport me. Obviously I won all my cases. So I won. It took about 3 years because they kept appealing. So in 2013, that was my last appeal hearing. And by then I'd been out of prison for a year. So I was in prison from 2007 to 2012. And then in 2013, that was my last deportation hearing. So I'd won. 2.5 years later, Home Office has come back saying they want to revoke my indefinite leave and put me on temporary leave, meaning I got to pay every 30 months or so. Because it's like, and I'm like, I don't get why. Like, I've been out of prison for 3.5 years now. 3.5 years been out of prison, not reoffended, not been arrested, been working, had a family, work with charities, councils, and all that to help with the youth. Still, they said they want to try to take my indefinite leave, put me on limited leave. So in 2016, I was in court. And, I won my first case. So by now I've been out of prison 4.5 years and I had letters from probation, letters from family, work, everything. And the judge, gave it to me, said, I commend you, you change your life around. I don't see no reason to put you on limited leave after so long. And, you haven't done anything wrong in order to be so, and you can't be deported. So I won that one. And then after it went to another court and this judge from the get-go seemed to have some type of bias or some type of issue with my situation. But he favored the Home Office. And in some of his decisions, he said stuff like, that because I never had suitable employment, I had a financial incentive to reoffend. And I'm like, okay, but I sent the last court paperwork of working. So where are you getting this information from? He also said that I had family. I never showed proof of family ties, but yet still my partner was there with me. I had 2 children at the time. I supplied both birth certificates. He only mentioned one child, even would get my child's birth date wrong by a year and a couple of days. And I'm like, how did you get it wrong when you was given birth certificates? Like, how do you do that? So all of these reasons, as well as other little minor reasons, he gave to the Home Office their win. So it was just like, okay, cool. And then I never won any appeals. So yeah, I'm on temporary leave. And the reason why this has been going on for like 11 years, but the reason why it's just blown up is because somebody recently said, I want to put this in the press. And so they put it in the press and that's the reason why it's all blowing up. But yeah, this has been going on a long time. It's been going on.
How do you feel about it now? I mean, it's a long ordeal and you sound so brave and strong. And obviously you have a lot of courage to get through it, but how do you feel about it now?
For me, to being honest, it's nothing. And I say that in the sense because one, I've been going through it for a long time. 2, it hasn't affected my health or my finances. Well, it's affected my finances in the sense that I can't travel.
Right.
But apart from that and the ordeal of like, oh God, I can't leave the country just like that. But really, like, this is like a blip. And I say this every time I talk about it, like, this is a blip in a blip in my universe. It's a small blip. Like, I know it looks big because, it's Home Office and, it's the threat from the country and blah, blah, blah. But like, this is easier than having beef with somebody in the streets, So like, and I know there's people out there who would still love to have my life. There's somebody out there right now in a country where they're suffering day in, day out, family taken away from them, everything, being abused, everything. And they would love to have my life. So as long as there's people out there that would love to have my life with my confinements, then I can't really complain. You know what I'm saying? Do I not get annoyed? Yeah, I get annoyed because the Home Office are sorry to swear on your thing.
It's no problem.
But at the end of the day, I could be in a way times worse. And I know in the end, this is just a part of my journey. Maybe this journey's happening for me to change law. Maybe this journey's happening. So when I do a talk, it's even more inspirational. So I can only use any experiences and have it in a positive way that will have a great effect on my life and benefit me. So everything that the Home Office is doing right now, they think is benefiting them. No, the only thing that benefits them is that they won and they got money from me. But this all benefits me. You know, right now, I've done so many talks, connected with so many people because of this. Now I'm in the public light even more. So anything I do as an actor is going to shine even more. Like, so when they think that they've dunked me down, oh, I've taken this and used it. When I do a talk and I say, look, I've done this, I've done that. I was going through all of this situation and I still able to do Marvel, create my own, start my business, build my business and still be able to thrive, even though the Home Office is on my lap. Like, that benefits me. So at the end of the day, I don't feel life. I don't get stressed. I don't get depressed. Those words don't exist in my reality. Do I get annoyed? Hell yeah. Do I get frustrated? Hell yeah. Can I be off? Yeah. But do I stay stressed and depressed? Oh no. Those things don't happen in my world. So yeah, that's my answer to it.
No, that's good. And I'm in your corner, and I know there's lots of people in your corner. It's something I wanted to talk to you about because me being a man of color in the world that we work in, it's not an issue, but you have thoughts, because you don't see many people like us in the world that we work in. And when I heard about your story, it made me think about my identity. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that thinks about that.
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of the case, but it sounds like there's been some incompetence and some wrongful judgment that's put you in a really tricky situation.
Yep.
And that can happen to anyone. And it's good that you're talking about it. It's good that people are focused on it and thinking about it, because we have to have these conversations.
Yeah, of course, 100%. And someone's going to be held accountable anyway. I'm just putting it out there. Someone's going to be held accountable, whether it's the courts for losing my paperwork or the judge himself or the Home Office. Someone's going to be held accountable. Like I'm never going to let this go lying down. So someone will be held accountable, and I can put that out to the universe, and it will definitely come back. And I'm confident in that. I'm confident in saying that. And again, there's many people out there that might be going through my situation that don't even know it, being born and grown here, don't even know when they go to make their application that they might get refused because they didn't know about 1983, So it's just like, we're going to do something about it, And if my name as an actor helps to do so when I get bigger and bigger and bigger, then that's what we're going to do. So yeah, man, it can happen to anybody that's not originally from this country, but as long as you stay on the positive narrow and make sure you're paying your taxes, you should be all right. Everyone should be all right, unless they change some crazy law. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about some more things about you specifically. What motivates you?
Me, you know what? The main thing that motivates me is about, some of it's ego-based and some of it's heart-based. When I say ego, I mean in the sense that I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy on the planet. That's me. I want my name to be remembered like it does with some of the greats. And the reason why I never knew when I was young, because when I was young, I always wanted to be that person, that left a legacy. And I believe it's because my mom names me Ace as well. And Ace means number one. And it's like, I want to live up to my name, but also at the same time, as I got older and start recognizing things, me leaving a legacy does more than just feed my ego. What that does is enables, especially young Black youth, to look at what I've achieved from where I've come from and make it known that, anything is bloody possible. And this is why I go so hard in what I do and why I'm in a field that's really been untouched. Because if I just went down a normal plan, which was to be an action actor, to be a proper action actor, that that is not nothing new. Yes, it might be new for the UK because the UK doesn't have a black action actor. You know, yeah, we got Idris Elba and all of that, but I'm talking about study martial arts, know how to fight, all that type of stuff. We don't have one. You know, only Michael J. White is the one in America. And who else is there? I'm not even sure who else is there, but Michael J. White probably is the number one. So that was the route. But now, you know, doing Creature, I'm basically in the black community, should I say, most of the black community didn't know how a video game was made until I posted a video about how it was made. You know, most of the people didn't know Creatures played all of this stuff until I posted about Creatures playing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So some people didn't even know there was a world where you could build practical effects to play creatures for thingy. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, that legacy shows that I'm in a field that has been untouched by, and I'm not going to say minority, but those that are not white. And then doing it from a place of somebody that used to be in gang and used to be in prison for X amount of years to come out to achieve it without no agent backing my shoulder, pushing me in, no manager pushing me in. This is all off my own money. When I bought my motion capture XN suit, which should be coming today as we speak, you know, that was my money. That was my thousands and thousands. When I make all of these equipments, these are my thousands and thousands I'm spending. You know, no investor, no agent getting me to work, no nothing. This is me. So of course, when I say that, of course, word of mouth is, so I've had support. So, you know, Sanj might be on something and be like, oh, I know somebody. So of course I've had people that will have used my name, but I've not had no agent that I'm paying, you know, part of my money. I've had an agent before, but after Marvel, I was like, what's the point? I can do this shit myself. So it's like, yeah, for me, it's leaving a legacy. And for my children as well, to know that when they're financially in a great position to not have to have any kind of form of struggle when they get older, they don't have to work for nobody apart from work for daddy or build something that they truly want to do and daddy helps, you know? So it's the fact that every time I do a big job, when I go to a school and do a talk, the effect that it may have on the audience or that one child, that's a breath of fresh air. So when I leave that legacy, it's about, you know, doing things on a scale that leaves my name printed on the planet, because at the end of the day, your name is your biggest asset. Your name, because when you die, it's your name that's going to live on. Do you know what I'm saying? That's your name. So when someone says your name, what do you want it to represent? When they say your name, every time somebody's name gets mentioned, it becomes associated with some thoughts or emotions. Every name, someone gets a name, someone's not going to be like, huh? Who's that? I don't know him. Or I don't, who's that? It's going to trigger something. So my thing is, what do you want your name to trigger? And I want my name to trigger to say, you know what? Ace went from one life to another lifestyle. He proved that, if you had self-belief and the desire and the psychology to do what you want to do, you're going to achieve it. And that's what I want. So answering that question, I want to leave a legacy, and one that makes people know that, re-strip your mind, develop your self-belief, recognize how amazing you are, and you can go beyond what I'm doing and go beyond to the stars. And that's what I want to leave, that legacy that leaves that.
Amazing. You touched on word of mouth because, you're a pioneer in your field. You're a practitioner in an art form that is emerging and burgeoning. You don't have an agent and you don't have a manager. How important has word of mouth been for you?
Yeah, no, word of mouth is really, 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 really important, because I say to people, branding gets you seen, your skills gets you the job, and your personality gets you the next job, So for me, my word of mouth has increased because of the branding, how I brand myself, how I market myself, So for me, the main thing is marketing. How do you put yourself down? How every post, everything you do, everything that you do in relation to your acting or whatever, how is that branding you? When you post your show reel, is your show reel no different from the rest of the people that look like you? Or when you post that clip of acting, is it any different from already what's out there? So it's about the branding. And once the branding happens, people are going to talk. You know, I had a meeting yesterday with somebody that the technology that they're using, that they're going to be using for one of their shoot production, which I'm grateful to be a part of. It's you know, it can almost say bye-bye to mocap in a way, almost.
Wow.
You know, almost, you know, and I'm grateful to be able to be a part of it as an actor, because of my equipment, it enables them to get some things off me that they couldn't get nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that was mentioned to that person by somebody else that watched my videos and communicated with me once, you know? So people are looking and talking. You know, all of my work that I've done recently have all been from, you know, someone saying, Ace is the best person, or watching my videos and sharing it to somebody else, you know what I'm saying, from India to America. Like I've had someone fly over to capture my work from Canada, you know? So it's like word of mouth is very important, but word of mouth is going to come from the content and the personality you have. You know what I'm saying? Like Sanj, you're only going to recommend me. Yeah. All right, cool. My skills might be great. But if you came to my class and I was a as a teacher, you know, you ain't recommending me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you recommended me. I think someone wanted to do my class because you mentioned something.
Yeah.
I can't remember the person's name. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm singing your praises to a lot of my fellow actor friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, even my friend, yeah, because you're in a group, some group on WhatsApp, and my friend Yasmin, she messaged me. She's in the same group and said, "Oh, look, this guy posted his show reel, which you put the creature stuff in." And I said, "Yeah, and you know, you gave me praisals." So it's like, but if I was a douchebag, you would have done that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's really about skill is important, because yeah, all right, Sanj comes to the class. If I didn't have the skill, Sanj wouldn't be leaving knowing anything. So that would be an X. But then if I was a douchebag and didn't want to work with you rather than on top of you, but work with you, you know, that's why we ran over. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a workshop where I've never ran over, because I'm passionate about making sure everybody gets what they deserve. Do you understand? Reputation for me is big. Reputation is massive for me. Like that means more to me than anything else in the world that I'm in. Reputation, because it's like, that's your name. You put dirt on somebody's name, that can ruin things down the line. You put greatness on somebody's name, that can create things down the line. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm never going to have anyone feel like they can't work with me. You know what I'm saying? The only way you can't work with me is if you have an ego that's too big and you're trying to talk to me a particular way, and it's not going to go down that way. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be rude or anything, because I worry about, you know, I'm a black guy with size. So, you know, stereotype is easy to play, but I'm not going to be pushed over. That ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Doesn't matter if you are the head of Disney or whatever, but you have to sometimes know when to bite your tongue, but then sometimes you have to know when to not be disrespected. You know what I'm saying? So for me, yeah, man, like that's what it is for me, man.
Who are your influences?
Ooh, as an actor,
yeah,
I would say the people that influence me would be Wesley Snipes, Andy Serkis, and Jim Carrey.
Wow,
they're my favorite people. What I do as an actor. Jim Carrey, very expressional. Andy Serkis can play animal or normal human being. Wesley Snipes, you know, he was really like that actor that he could really do martial arts. He could really perform on all of that stuff. So for me, it was just like, wow, like these are the three actors that that inspire me. But if you say outside of the acting world, you know, outside of the acting world, I would say recently, Kevin Hart is one of them. Someone like Simon Cowell is one of them. Jay-Z is one of them. You know, the guy that played Black Panther, Chaz McBodwin is one of them. Who else is another inspiration to me? Tony Robbins is one of them. So like, again, like these are people who are leading in their fields, but they came from nothing and made something happen. You know, they've left an impact on the world. And those for me, like really for me right now, Kevin Hart is probably my biggest right now. And Chadwick Boseman, because of just him, how he is as a human being, but as a hustler, Kevin Hart, you know, from where he's come from to what he is now. So for me, I and all my motivational tapes that I listen to every day, they're my inspo. So for me, and just life in itself, you know, knowing what I can achieve, I am also my biggest inspo because I see myself as knowing what is possible. Do you understand what I'm saying? And because I know what's possible, I inspire me to go and get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And for me, when you just know what you are worth as a human being and what you are capable of doing, that should inspire you. You know, if Sanj tomorrow became one of the biggest actors in the world, that would inspire me because I spoke to you yesterday and bang, you done this tomorrow. I'm like, yo, that inspires me. But what that does, it gives me real reference that that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at what other people do as real reference to say that's possible rather than, oh, they're special. Oh, I can't do it. They was given these opportunities. No. You just made me realize that is possible. Now I've got to find my own way to get there.
Absolutely. What advice would you give your younger self starting off in this industry?
I would turn around and say that, one, you have to have the belief. 2, you have to have the skill. 3, you got to have the branding. And 4, you have to make sure you are consistent and persistent until death do you part. Do you understand? Like, you have to have the skill. For whatever field it is, you got to have the skill. Whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you're an actor, you have to have the skill. Because without the skill, you can't do nothing. But then what you want to do is try to find a way to have a skill that is so niche that people have to look to you when they need it. Do you understand? So I'm an actor, you're an actor. But you know what? Does it mean that you can't act with the equipment that I made? Of course you can. Anybody can do it. You just got to train with it. But guess what? How many people are invested in that to then have it, to then make videos for free for other people to use? You know, how many? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's the fact that I'm not doing something that can't be done. I'm just doing it first and doing it on such a scale that you're going to have to think of me when you think of these things. Do you understand? So as an actor, you have to ask yourself, if we're talking about actors, what's your niche? What can you provide or do that, okay, other people can do, but right now it's not out there in the open light? Meaning, like I was talking to a female yesterday, I'm like, there's nobody dominating the female creature world. That means there's a position there open. There's no one dominating the female acting world as a UK actor. Like, no female is dominating the action world as a female actor. So there's a space there. But who's really willing to quit everything else and go 100% at it? Do you understand? Who's really willing? Like, I'm willing to quit it, bro. Listen, I got spotlight. I'm about to turn off the notification because it's like, why do I even open up these emails? Because I ain't applying for nothing. I ain't trying to apply for nothing because all my focus is on what I'm creating. If someone offers me a job where, you know, it's nothing to do with mocap or creature or whatever, I'll do it. But that's them offering it to me. I ain't going out my way to try and do a commercial. That's partly why I don't have an agent, because they're going to try to give me stuff that I don't care about. And I'm going to take up some of my day just to go to a commercial advert because, you know, like, no, that there's no passion in it. Yeah, you might get paid the 10K, the 5K buyout. But for me, it's just like, it's long. I'd rather be based on myself. So I would say the self-belief is the most important thing, that you have to have the belief so much that you feel hungry to go and get it because you deserve it. You got to have the self-belief. You got to know you deserve it. You got to have the skill. Then you got to brand yourself in a way that people want to look at you. And then you got to make sure you have a good personality. And that's what I say for anything. That could be any field. If I decided to change my career right now and become an electrician, I'm going to find a way to try and make something that's not out there already. Or if it is, be the first to do it on such a scale that it's not possible. That's how I think. I think, how can I find a way to be number one? How can I create my own category within that field that already exists? So motion capture existed before me, practical effects existed before me, but who made practical effects equipment just so performers can create better data for other people? Nobody. Do you understand? So it's about finding, there's niches in everything. There's niches in comedy, there's niches in everything, but who's doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like the recent comedy person that found the niche is that guy, I forgot his name, with the big eyebrows, the light-skinned guy that makes all of those videos. Yeah, as soon as something happened, he makes a music video about it. As soon as something happens, he makes a comedy music video about it. Like, could anybody have been doing that before? Hell yeah. But guess what? He took it and he ran with it and he delivers every day, every week. So he didn't do it just the one time or once a month like some people have done before. He's like, oh, you know what? I heard the other day, some people wait for him to make a video just to find out what's going on in politics. That's when you know you're on another level. People wait for him to make a video to hear about the announcements that Boris has made. Like that, like I don't even think he knows that people are doing that. So, but that's in comedy. Comedy's been around for how many existing years?
Since the dawn of time.
You know what I'm saying? But he's taken and done something new.
Yeah.
So it's about finding the niche and running with it until it burns out completely. But by then you should have created your name around it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's my advice to anyone. You must have the self-belief. You must know you deserve it. You must have the skill. You must develop the branding to be in a niche, in a category where you're the first to do it, or if you're not the first to do it, you're the first to the people in the world to do it. And then you got to be consistent with the personality that enables you to have good social experiences.
Ace, man, this conversation has charged me, mate, for my weekend. This is going to make my weekend incredible. I mean, literally, since I've been talking to you, the sun has started to come out of the clouds. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
We're coming towards the end of the chat, but I know there's loads of people who have listened to this who've got a lot of value out of it.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you?
Well, anyone can find me. Just put Ace Ruele in goddamn Google, man. I'll pop up, man. No, I'm joking. Well, you can anyway. But no, if anyone wants to get in contact, just Ace Ruele on anything, man. Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Ace Ruele or aceruele.com, right? Officially, go through aceruele.com, or, you want to get in contact via LinkedIn or Instagram, I do reply to my messages after, if it doesn't take too long or so. But yeah, emails I definitely do. So you can either get me through aceruele, aceruele.com, or put Ace Ruele on Instagram, Ace Ruele, and LinkedIn, or Twitter. And I am there. I barely use my Twitter. I only use Twitter now just because of the whole home office situation. People kept at me. I'm only starting to use Twitter like in the last 2 to 3 months. Before it was just there for no reason. But now I kind of use it a bit more. So yeah, man, any of those platforms, you can get at me, man. You can find me there easily.
Brilliant. You've also got a couple of courses coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got 3 courses. One, obviously, which is just for those who have done my course before and they want to take it into the motion capture studio. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I have the other course, which is 1 day not in the studio, which was what you done with the arm extensions. And then we go into the studio. But then some of the students that have done my class before are like, we want to go in the motion capture studio. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do a 1 day workshop where if you've done the course before, that means we don't have to focus on you learning how to use it, and you've already created your own creature. So the 3 courses is the one with Neil Newborn, Performance Captured Academy. That's my guy. We are doing a course, which is a 2-day course, which is 1 day, not in the volume, learning how to use the arm extensions. Then you get the arm extensions for 7 days to practice with. And then on the weekend after, you go into a motion capture studio, which is creative assembly. So that's one. The second one is for those who have done my course before that want to take what they've learned into a motion capture studio so they can get data and learn video mechanics, which I'm going to be bringing in a mocap supervisor or a mocap technician who will go through locomotions with you guys. That's for that. And then the last course again, is the arm extensions class by itself. No mocap, no nothing, because I've had people that have paid for the class that wasn't able to make it. So I got to do one more just to make sure everyone that's paid has, gets to have their experience. So yeah, those are the 3 courses for now. But next year, we're going to be expanding into more stuff.
Awesome. Those of you listening, I highly recommend those courses. Ace is a great teacher.
Thank you, brother.
And the experience is very physical. So it's a proper workout, which I loved. I mean, I was in pain the next day, but I really enjoyed it. Ace, thanks so much for this. It's been really wonderful.
No problem, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It's a nice talk, man. Believe in yourself, man. Anything is possible, man. Anything, So thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Those of you listening, again, thanks so much for your support. Please like, share, subscribe. Hashtag is Sanj Surati Talks, all one word. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please be good.